Can you run to the store for me? What? First, you should say hello to your in-laws. That can wait. Just go, please. Today, we were invited to celebrate my sister-in-law's new baby. Yet, I wasn't immediately allowed inside and was asked to go shopping instead. I'll go with you. I need your help with something. So, I ended up going to the store alone. Under the cold sky, I returned alone, but the front door was locked. I rang the doorbell several times. Finally, the door slowly opened, and my sister-in-law appeared. How noisy! And you are? I didn't understand what she meant. What do you mean? I bought what you asked for. Oh, did I? My memory's been terrible lately. That's not right. Enough. Stay outside until I say you can come in. Freeze out there for all I care. And so, I was locked out. What did she mean by wait? Worse, my bag with my phone was with my husband. I couldn't stay out in the cold forever. I rang the doorbell again. But this time, no one came out. I had no way of knowing how much time had passed. Next, I knocked on the front door. Could you stop? We're having a good time here. Frankly, I didn't care. Can I come in, please? Would you mind keeping away? Then my husband came out, sensing something was wrong. That's no way to speak. We're here to celebrate your sister. Oh, you've been fooled by this woman too. What? This woman is nothing but a jinx to our family. If you stick with her, you'll end up in trouble too. What's that? Despite my husband's words, my sister-in-law continued her tirade. There's no way I'm letting that woman in. I had reached my limit. Fine. If that's how it is, I'll leave. I was thinking of leaving too. Why are you leaving too? Because I don't want to be here for another second. Bye. Unknown to us, someone else had witnessed the entire scene. As a result, my sister-in-law's celebration turned into a disaster. My name is Elizabeth, a freelance illustrator. About 4 years ago, I hit it off with my client Ethan, and we started dating on a whim. Initially, it was just spontaneous, but after dating for about 2 years, we became indispensable to each other and got married. Why don't we start a company together after we get married? A company? Yeah. Nothing too formal, you know. I've been wanting to go freelance too. That sounds like a good idea. Ethan, being a designer, and I had great work chemistry. I was optimistic about our work future, but there was a problem elsewhere. It happened when we visited his family to announce our marriage. I think that's when his mother and sister, Michelle, started disliking me. Elizabeth, right? I've heard about you from Ethan. Pleased to meet you. I look forward to getting to know you. You look a bit under the weather, don't you think? Saying this, she seeks agreement from her mother-in-law. My mother-in-law scrutinizes me as if sizing me up and size. Indeed, you do have a bit of a plain Jane vibe. Don't you think she's not quite Ethan's match? Caught off guard by the sudden critique, I'm left speechless. Then, Ethan quickly comes to my rescue. That's no way to talk. Both of you owe Elizabeth an apology. It seems my mother-in-law and Michelle are not used to being scolded by Ethan, as they looked taken aback. Feeling a bit relieved, they then glared at me. What have I done to deserve this? I feared for what the future would hold. I even began to doubt if the marriage would actually happen. However, those fears vanished once we were inside. Hey, glad you could make it. We've been waiting for you. Moreover, Michelle's husband, James, welcomed us warmly. Ethan, you've caught yourself a good one. Thank you. Ignoring my mother-in-law and Michelle, we had a great time. Thanks to my father-in-law and James, we managed to get through the greetings smoothly. I was nervous, but it seems they were pleased, which is good. Now we can get married without any worries. Little did we know, 2 people were watching us from the shadows. And it was on our walk back to the nearest station. Wait, I forgot something. You go ahead, and I'll catch up. All right. Got it. I headed back towards Ethan's family home. As if they were waiting for me, the 2 of them were there. Did you come back for this? Yes, that's right. Michelle was holding up my forgotten phone, as if to say, come and get it. There's something I want to say before giving this back. What is it? Just because Dad and James approve doesn't mean we do. What? That's right. Flirting with those 2, you're really shameless. I did no such thing. No matter how much I denied it, they wouldn't listen. Don't lie. I can tell. If you do the same thing again, this will happen. With that, Michelle threw my phone at me. I dodged reflexively. The phone flew past me and crashed against the fence, shattering the screen. Why would you do that? If you had just listened to us, this wouldn't have happened. That's right. Be careful from now on. They laughed and went back inside. I picked up my broken phone and followed Ethan. Honestly, I didn't know how to face Ethan. But he was waiting for me at the spot where we had parted earlier. I thought you were going ahead. I was, but I got worried. What? Did you find what you were looking for? Yes, but... I showed him the phone with the shattered screen. What? How did this happen? I was in a hurry and dropped it. I tried to laugh it off, not daring to tell Ethan the truth. If I told Ethan about what his sister and mother did to me, he'd go back and give them a piece of his mind right away. At that time, I was dominated by the thought that I just needed to endure it myself. Ethan, though puzzled, seemed to understand somehow, and we went home. All right, let's do the business registration tomorrow. Yeah. This marks a new beginning for us. We gotta work harder than ever now. A week after successfully getting married, we started the process to establish our company. The excitement of tackling this new venture together was unstoppable. Since we both had good relationships with our previous clients, work started coming in smoothly after we opened for business. It was more than we imagined, and we were busy every day. Ethan just told me his sister is pregnant. Pregnant? Yeah, it seems so. It was good news, but at the same time, it felt like an invitation to hell for me. Feeling it would be wrong not to reach out, I decided to contact his sister right away. Hello? Is this Ethan's sister? Is that Elizabeth? How do you know this number? Ethan gave it to me. I heard you were pregnant. You called just to say that? Thank you. There was a hint of sarcasm in her voice, but she seemed to take my call positively. If there's anything you need, just let me know. Really? Well, I might just take you up on that. Looking back, I wonder why I ever said that. So, how did it go? I think she was happy about it. That's good. Maybe this will soften her up a bit. She's always been so aggressive towards others. Yeah, maybe. I thought to myself that she was talking about me but didn't say it out loud. About a month after finding out about his sister's pregnancy, she called me during work. Do you need something? You said before that you'd help with anything, right? Yes, that's right. You haven't forgotten, have you? I need something from you right now. Can you come over? Right now is a bit difficult. I have work. Work? As if you're doing anything important. Just come over now. You know what will happen if you don't, right? I realized I had no choice but to comply. I told Ethan about it. I'm going to your sister's place for a bit. Now? Yeah. She says she needs help with something. Isn't she at our parents' house? Mom and everyone else should be there. Want me to call and say you can't make it? No need for that. I'll take my laptop just in case something comes up. All right then. I'll be back soon. I quickly got ready and headed to Ethan's family home. Apprehensive about what I might be asked to do, I opened the front door. As if they were waiting for me, Ethan's mother and sister stood there. Great, you're here. We need you to clean. Clean? Yes. You said you'd help with anything, didn't you? We're going out, so please finish before we get back. Wait a minute. They left, ignoring my protests. Left alone, I had no choice but to start cleaning as instructed. I cleaned each room meticulously. I started cleaning around noon, and it was already past 3 p.m. While taking a brief rest, they unfortunately returned. What are you doing slacking off? I wasn't slacking off. I did the cleaning just as I was told. Well then, I'll check it. My sister-in-law went through each room, checking even the smallest details. And when she came back, she started complaining. Seeing my displeased face, she said, "This is nowhere near good enough. Do it again." I couldn't help but look at her with frustration. What's with that face? You know you can't say no, right? I chose to just finish the task and go home. All right. I started the cleaning from scratch. By the time I finished, it was already past 5:30 p.m. This is acceptable, right? Well, I guess this will do for today. Then my mother-in-law came rushing in. This is no time for cleaning. Your father will be home soon. Is it that time already? Indeed, we shouldn't be doing this now. I couldn't understand why they were so panicked. What are you spacing out for? Hurry up and go home. Huh? If he finds out we've been doing this, it'll be trouble. Hurry up and leave. With that, my sister-in-law threw my bag out the front door. And so, I was effectively kicked out of my in-laws' house. There was a reason they were so afraid of their father. From what Ethan had told me before, his father was very traditional, and neither his mother nor his sister could stand up to him. Certainly, if he found out what they had been doing to me, they would be in for a severe scolding. That's why they rushed me out before he returned. I'm sorry. I didn't realize it at all. I was worried. You weren't answering my calls. On my way back, I checked my phone and saw several missed calls from Ethan. I'm on my way home now. Well, I'm glad you're safe. I thought something had happened. Yeah, I'm fine. I wondered how long I would have to keep lying to Ethan. Although I knew I should talk to him, thinking of my sister-in-law and mother-in-law made it hard to take that step. This incident led to my sister-in-law calling me over whenever their father was not around. I began to immerse myself in work more than ever to forget about these occurrences. You've been working too much lately. Do you think so? You seem a bit worn out. Maybe you should take a break? Thanks, but I'm okay. Work has been really enjoyable. If you say so, but don't overdo it. Okay. And then another call from my sister-in-law. Can you come over? Again? Of course, you'll come, right? What do you need me to do this time? Well, that will be a surprise. Just be here within an hour. Thanks. With that, she hung up. I headed to my in-laws' house, feeling dazed. Hey, are you listening? Oh, sorry. What were you saying? At that time, I might have had a fever because my memory was foggy. Really, you're so useless. Come on, that's nothing new. Anyway, you know what I asked for, right? Well, it's weeding the garden. Hurry up and get to it. It was an extremely hot day. Not suitable for outdoor work at all. But they didn't care in the slightest because they were comfortable inside. If I had been thinking clearly, I would have refused. Here, use these. My mother-in-law threw a shovel and gloves at me. As I picked them up, I was pushed from behind and fell. What a klutz. Hurry up and get going. Mom, that's not how you do it. This is how. My sister-in-law kicked me hard, sending me outside. And then locked the door behind me. Under the scorching sun, I started weeding the garden. After about 2 hours, I collapsed. My sister-in-law and mother-in-law found me when they came to check. I could faintly hear their conversation. What should we do? She's not dead, is she? Let's call an ambulance. Wait a minute. Won't that alert Dad? That should be fine. Right, I guess so. Amidst their laughter, I lost consciousness. When I regained consciousness, I found myself on a hospital bed. Looking around, Ethan was peering at me with a worried look. You finally woke up. I'm so glad. Though my consciousness was still not clear, I could see tears in Ethan's eyes. How did I get here? It seems your sister called for help. And them? No, they left as I arrived. I see. Trying to get up, I still couldn't move my body well and fell back. Hey. Don't push yourself yet. Thanks. The doctor said it was due to overwork and heat stroke. What were you doing? Slowly, my foggy memories began to return. I was still hesitant about whether to talk about it. Seeing me like this, Ethan gently urged me. I want you to tell me what happened. I'm on your side no matter what. Thank you. And so, I told him everything that his sister and mother-in-law had done to me. I can't believe they did that. I'm sorry for not saying anything sooner. I didn't want to trouble you. What are you talking about? We're a couple, right? We're supposed to help each other out in tough times. Yeah, you're right. And for them to treat my wife like this until she collapses, they need to learn their lesson. But what will we do? I have a plan. Just leave it to me. In the meantime, you rest. There were no more reassuring words than these. I trusted Ethan's words and focused on resting my body. 2 days after being admitted to the hospital, my sister-in-law and mother-in-law came, led by their father. Elizabeth, I'm truly sorry for what happened this time. Oh, no, it's okay. I've given them a stern talking to. Is that so? Apparently, Ethan had told their father about the 2 women. My sister-in-law and mother-in-law had such a somber look I had never seen before, likely scolded severely by their father. Now, both of you apologize properly. Slowly, they approached me. Elizabeth, we're truly sorry. We'll change our ways and won't do anything like this again. I felt like you stole Ethan from me. Please forgive me. At that moment, I chose not to say anything. Honestly, I doubted whether they were truly remorseful. For now, you two should leave. After they left the hospital room, we sighed. I'm sorry for sighing like that. No, don't worry about it. I never expected them to go this far. I'm truly sorry. Their father apologized again. But there was something I needed to ask. Do you think they will really change their ways? Honestly, I've been thinking about that too. They might harass you again. I thought so. So, I'll keep an eye on them as much as I can, though I may not be reliable. Not at all. That's very reassuring. I'm glad to hear that. I've also informed James about the situation. Okay. 2 days later, I was discharged from the hospital. Ethan came to pick me up. You came for me. Thank you. Of course, I would. How are you feeling? I've fully recovered. I'm really sorry for not noticing sooner. It was the first time I saw Ethan so apologetic. It's okay. Lift your head. It's not your fault. If I had talked about it sooner, this wouldn't have happened. From now on, I won't let them do as they please. I'm relying on you. After being discharged, everything was peaceful. I returned to work, forgetting all about my sister-in-law and mother-in-law. There were no more calls from them. If only time could have passed without further issues. We were doing well at work and moved to a new place. There wouldn't have been a problem. But my sister-in-law and mother-in-law suddenly showed up at our new home. How did you find this place? I was instinctively on guard. We hadn't told them about the move. We heard you moved. We were curious about your new home, so we came to visit. I had a bad feeling about this. Especially since Ethan wasn't home at the time. Even so, I couldn't just send them away. Please, come in. I led them to the living room and prepared some tea. You're living in quite a nice place. Thanks, work has been going well. It must be nice living here just the 2 of you, huh? Indeed it is. Their laughter felt eerily out of place. So, how did you 2 find out where we live? Oh, Ethan told us. Is that so? Huh? You didn't know? I hadn't heard anything like that from Ethan. Knowing what they had done before, it was unthinkable that he would keep something like this from me. Maybe you're not as trusted as you thought? Mom, that's a bit harsh, don't you think? Well, Ethan's not here now. Maybe he's with another woman? Though nothing direct was done, their remarks were disrespectful towards Ethan. Ethan wouldn't do that. He's just out for a work meeting today. When I countered, they looked at each other and laughed. It's just a joke. Really, don't take it so seriously. I understood then. My sister-in-law and mother-in-law intended to weaken me mentally with their words rather than direct actions. You haven't forgotten what you did to me, have you? Of course not. That's why we're very sorry. That's right. It's all in the past, isn't it? We apologized and you accepted it. They continued to mock me after that. Honestly, their antics had no effect on me anymore. About an hour later. I'm home. What? Why are both of you here? We just came for a visit. Yeah, we're leaving now. Bye. They left the house quickly. It seemed that was their only reason for visiting. I wondered how much free time they had. Especially since my sister-in-law was pregnant. Did they do anything? Not really. They just couldn't directly do anything, so they resorted to complaints and snide remarks. They never learn. But they won't be able to do much more, so it's fine, I guess. Well, if you say so. Did you tell them our address? Yeah. Dad wanted to send something over and insisted I give it to them. I see. I didn't expect them to actually come. Probably there won't be any package. It was just an excuse to get our address. So they used Dad as a pretext. Afterward, thanks to Ethan standing up for me again, they stopped coming to our house. And about 6 months later, Ethan received a message from his sister. She had the baby and asked if we'd like to visit. Guess it's for a baby shower. Seems like it. Then we should bring a gift, right? Well, it feels unnecessary. That would be inappropriate, though. We decided to prepare a gift for my sister-in-law's baby shower. Being our first time, we weren't sure what to choose. Eventually, after researching on our phones, we settled on sending a gift card. This seems like the safest choice. They can pick out something they like from it. And so, we headed to my in-laws' house the next Saturday. When I rang the doorbell, my sister-in-law came out. Good of you to come. Congratulations on the baby. Thank you. It had been a while since I'd seen my sister-in-law, but she didn't seem to have changed much. This is from both of us. My husband handed over the baby shower gift. I feel bad accepting this from you. Just as we were about to enter the house. Would you mind running to the store for a bit? Shouldn't we say hello to your parents first? That can wait. I really need you to go now. Without being let in, I was asked to go shopping at the front door. I'll go with you. I need Ethan's help with something. Could you go by yourself? What do you need me to get? It's all written on this list. Handing me a note. I set off to shop alone. Are you sure you'll be okay by yourself? I think so. Elizabeth isn't a child. She can handle shopping on her own. I'll be fine on my own. I took only my wallet and went out to shop. After getting what was asked, I returned to find the front door locked. Of course, I didn't have a key. And it was unusually cold that day. This is the worst. I pressed the doorbell. After no response the first time, I kept pressing. Eventually, the door slowly opened, and my sister-in-law appeared. So noisy. And who might you be? I couldn't understand what she meant. What are you talking about? I got what you asked for. Oh, did I? I've been so forgetful lately. That's not right. Enough. Just wait outside until I say you can come in. Freeze out there for all I care. Wait a minute. And so, I was locked out. What does she mean by wait? Worse yet, my bag with my phone was with my husband. I couldn't stay out in the cold forever. I pressed the doorbell again. But this time, no one came out. I had no way of knowing how much time had passed. Next, I knocked on the front door. Could you stop? We're having a good time here. Frankly, I didn't care. Can you just let me in, please? Would you mind not coming any closer? Then, sensing something was wrong, my husband came out. That's no way to speak. We came here to celebrate your sister. Oh, you've been fooled by this woman too. What? She is nothing but trouble for our family. Being with her will only bring you misfortune too. What's that supposed to mean? Despite my husband's words, my sister-in-law continued her tirade. There's no way I'm letting that woman into our house. I had reached my breaking point. Fine. If that's how it is, I'll leave. That's what I was thinking too. Why are you leaving too? Because I don't want to stay here another second. Bye. Unbeknownst to us, someone else had witnessed the entire scene. We were about to leave just like that. Then, from the back, my father-in-law and James appeared. Still up to these silly games, I see. I thought you'd be behaving by now, but this was the reason, huh? I can't overlook this. Then, in a panic, my mother-in-law came out. What are you doing, Dad? What am I doing? You're part of this too, you know. I've been saying to stop this the whole time. Is that so? Yes. Incredibly, my mother-in-law threw my sister-in-law under the bus. After all their antics, it came down to saving her own skin. But such tactics wouldn't work on my father-in-law. He then made a proposal. I'll take this matter into my hands for now. We'll set up a time to discuss this properly. A discussion? For what? My father-in-law glared at my sister-in-law. She froze like a frog being stared down by a snake. Let's save that for another time. I hate to say this, but Ethan and Elizabeth, I think it's best if you head home for now. All right. We'll do that. Yes. And so, we disbanded for the day. What was supposed to be a celebration turned into one of the worst days. Looks like it might be the end for those two. What's going to happen? I don't know, but with Dad and James here, they're probably in for a rough time. I hope they learn their lesson. A week later, Ethan received a call from his father. Dad wants us to come over to the house. It's time, then. When we arrived, the atmosphere was tense. Sitting across from each other in the living room were my father-in-law and James, and my sister-in-law and mother-in-law. Please, take a seat. Okay. And so, the interrogation, or discussion, began. First, about the other day, do you have anything to say? My father-in-law asked my sister-in-law. She remained silent. Then my mother-in-law raised her voice. Don't just sit there, say something. Why should I be scolded by you? You act like you did nothing wrong. You've been tormenting Elizabeth too. That was all you were doing. A mother-daughter argument broke out right before our eyes. It was a painful sight. We all sighed. Can we stop this unsightly behavior? Elizabeth is right. Don't embarrass yourselves further. Then, my sister-in-law and mother-in-law turned their target to me. This is all because of her. Yeah, she's been cozying up to Dad and James. I've said it before, why do I have to do something like that? They continued trying to corner me, but it only tightened the noose around their own necks. Enough from both of you. Actually, James and I have been discussing, and we've decided it's best if you two leave the house for a while. What? What are you talking about? We've been considering this for a long time, in case you went too far again. What is that supposed to mean? Don't worry about the child. I'll take him back to our family home. That's the plan. I hate to rush you, but you need to leave now. Oh, and don't worry, we've arranged a place for you to stay. That can't be true? It's not a lie. This decision is final. They had no energy left to argue as they did before. I had suspected it might come to this, but now they had no choice. Well, it's their own doing. I hope they reflect on their actions. It's really a shame it came to this. I couldn't help but laugh at their predicament. They brought this upon themselves by tormenting me. Afterward, under the watchful eyes of my father-in-law and James, they were escorted out of the house. Their expressions were as if it was the end of the world, a memory that remains vivid to me. This should make them realize their place. I guess what happens next is up to them. As they left, my father-in-law and James looked a bit sad. By the way, what was that last thing you gave them? Oh, that was a divorce paper. A divorce paper? It was kind of a threat. We had to do it, or they wouldn't reflect. You understand, right? Yes. After they left, we celebrated the baby shower properly. The baby was named Tom. A name chosen before birth. I'm starting to want a child too. Me too. We spent a pleasant time and returned home. Back to our usual life. Sometime later, my father-in-law called. How are you guys doing over there? We're good, just the usual. About those two. Did something happen? Well, how should I put it? It seems like they're still fighting every day and nothing has really changed. I see. I heard the same thing from James. Then, my sister-in-law reached out. Can't you talk some sense into them? Why should I? They won't listen to us. That's on you and your actions, isn't it? It has nothing to do with me. I hung up the phone unilaterally. Afterward, my sister-in-law and mother-in-law ended up divorcing. They never understood the folly of their actions until the very end. From now on, they'll have to live through their struggles. On the other hand, I found out I was pregnant. We hope to lead a happy life as a family of 3. I have no intention of walking the same path as my sister-in-law and mother-in-law.